Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your metal market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening, as we're here now on Wednesday, the 8th of October, 2025. We're just getting on to 5:55 p.m. Central Time. Now let's take a look at some of the news that we're going to get tomorrow. The Fed is going to have members speaking, and this is what's listed at least. Chair Powell, Bowman, they'll have an opening speech in the morning at wherever they're speaking. Minneapolis Fed President Kashkari will speak at 11:45, and Daly will speak at 3:10. Normally we get jobless claims data, not getting it. Wholesale inventories, not getting it. We did get today the FOMC minutes, and I see a very mixed Fed. When I look at it, I see the arguments for the cut being what's going on with the unemployment. The market's looking weaker and weaker, not crashing, but weaker and weaker, and the Fed wants to get ahead of that. On the other hand, inflation isn't breaking. The full impact of the tariffs are still somewhat unknown. And the market is concerned about that. So you have another group that is saying, it's one thing to do one insurance cut. Do we really go to a second one with blind data now is what you got to be asking yourself, because this is just taking a stab. The Fed's preference is its own data. It certainly looks at outside data, Challenger Gray, ADP numbers, all those type of things. However, and there is a however here, it likes its own data, and it's not being collected. The IRS today announced that they're going to furlough 46% of their workforce. So for some people, they're going, yay. For a lot of us, no. If you call them, there's not going to be anybody there to talk to. That's problematic for the market. President Trump is saying that things are going well with Israel and Hamas, so well that he said in a post he might be flying to the Mideast for the weekend. If you hear he's flying, he's not going there to have pie thrown in his face. He's going there because there's a deal to be made. We'll see. Erdogan out of Turkey said the same thing. However, I read in the press that Hamas so far has not said they'll lay down their arms. When you hear that that's it, then I'm convinced there's a deal. Until that happens, I don't think that you have much of a deal at this point. Supreme Court's ruling on a lot of cases. You got to keep your eye on that as well. So you can see the stock market getting a continuation rally. However, you had a nice rally in the metals today. Early night, you're down nearly $30 in the gold. This is a bounce. Silver has been down $1. You heard me, $1 an ounce already. The copper market, this is a bounce. The market was down 470 points. These are not little bitty moves. This is for not the faint of heart. So you have to decide what is your style of trade. If you can't handle these type of swings, guess what? You don't trade it. There's other ways. You go to the ETF market. Maybe if you want to play the metals, you go to the gold miners. There's many other ways, and I cover that in my ETFs, and I was mentioning that today, and I certainly am covering it in my subscriber videos. Bitcoin. Still hanging here around the 123,000, 124,000 level. It's holding up well. The gold took off. The dollar took off today to 98.64. Now, for those of you that follow the Linn Group price counts, this is the first objective in the market. So this is a key number. Often when you hit the first objective, you get a bit of a stall in the market as it decides, is it going to go to the second one, and so on. We'll see. In the euro, you're getting a little bit of a bounce tonight. As we step over here and take a look at the Mexican peso, up another 8. It had a good day today, and it's holding on through there. And the Canadian dollar, it's up 3 points at this point in time. So let's take a look at what we've got. In the gold market, where would you put a stop if you buy it here? That's always the first thing I ask. And the reason is, if you can't control risk, you break your account. Futures, they hold no quarter. With 90% leverage, it becomes very violent, even in the mini contracts. Just remember that. You can see the market's pulling back a little bit tonight off that spike. That's not a top, not yet. You have higher lows, higher highs. The swing line's been in a bull move for quite a while here. I told you just earlier, yesterday, that we're getting to the point now where the 18-day average is going to get higher than the last swing line. It probably happens on Friday, so be ready for that. That's a good, friendly sign. on breaks. That could be where the market tries to find support. You can see on the Bollinger Band how the market has been running it, and when that happens, you get an embedded reading, and the embedded reading becomes a prophecy. You keep making higher highs till the red line closes back under 79 often. Not every time, but that's what often happens. When we look at the gold-silver ratio, as you know, we came up the other day challenging the 18-day average of closes, couldn't get over it. Now, the lower you go here, that would mean silver's gaining on the gold. You need less ounces of silver to get an ounce of gold. You have higher lows, higher highs, a fully embedded reading here. Copper has joined that parade. Look at how on pullbacks I expect support, and I'm going to stick my neck up. I think you're going to get support at what should have been resistance at the 493.88 level. Let's call it 494 now, a pound as you go here, and that's what I think is going to be the support. But watch what's going on. You had a bullish crossover where the 18-day average just got over the 200-day average, and it's probably going to march towards that 100. This is still a very bullish setup taking place in the market. I am not saying you buy big rallies, but I am saying it should find support on the breaks. Platinum. You know, people don't realize, what do you think metal has gone up the most this year? Gold, silver, copper, or platinum? If you had to go from the end of last year to where you're at right now. Yeah, interesting. And in the dollar index, you're coming back to fight here. Notice this was the last rally high. And I said this market had to make a decision what's going to be. Is the market going to go one way or the other? For those of you that are my subscribers, I said it's a real battle. You don't think it fought it right here? Take a look what went on. And now you've cleared everything, and keep your eye. If that dollar crosses the 100-day average, it even adds more fuel to the fire. It's definitively overbought. It's over the Bollinger Band. So it's ripe to get some type of reaction at this point. You know, if you haven't seen our price counts where we talk about where the dollar might go in the other markets, you probably want to go to our website at iraepstein.com, free offers, and take a look. Sign up for those. We'll put you on a temporary list if you haven't seen them before. It's fascinating. Today we did the price count on the dollar, and interesting where the dollar went to, where it's stalling right now, and what the next move could be should it decide it's going to continue up. But that's another story. Remember, you can click up here. You'll see an icon. That'll take you to our website to sign up. Otherwise, it's iraepstein.com and just go to free offers. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. I'll catch up with everybody in the other videos tonight, or first thing, see you in the morning at the morning update. I was in and out of my office all day today. It was the reason I didn't do a morning update. You take care.